All right, so today we continue learning laws of Shabbos. Today, class number 21. And we start with Sefer Chafetz Chaim. Today we learn actually Sefer Shmiras Halashon. And we're on page 87. And the title is Words of Defeat.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say it?
Okay. Sefer states, with 10 trials did our ancestors test God in the wilderness, but their judgment was sealed only on account of the sin of Lashon Hara. As it is written, they have tested me these 10 times and did not heed my voice. And it is written, you have made HaShem wary with your words. The generation of the wicked king Achav was plagued by idol worship, yet they were victorious in war and merit of their not informing on one another. This is evident from the fact that no one revealed to Achav that Avadia, aided by others, was sustaining 100 prophets of HaShem against the king's wishes. However, in days of the righteous Shaul, when informers such as Doeg and the Ziphites were found among the Jews, their armies fell in battle. The fact that they were children in Shaul's generation who were knowledgeable in 49 facets of the Torah was not enough to gain them victory. Such is the power of Lashon Hara.
So that's a very interesting example here. On the other hand, these 10 tribes, they continue going against HaShem, this Achav and all of his followers. And this is the fate of the 10 tribes. We don't know what happened to them. Right? And these people, Shaul and his kingdom, even though they spoke Lashon Hara, on the other hand, so they were following HaShem. Right? And they actually around, but these 10 tribes not around. So there are two lessons that we can learn from this. So some people who want to take it out of the context, so they twist it completely around. So they say peace is the most important thing in the world. So you see, it was peace in Ahav's time, even though everybody, most of his kingdom, I'm not sure, like many in his kingdom, let's put it this way, right, went against HaShem, they're peace. But our rabbis teach us that it was not peace for the sake of HaShem. They had something in common, but it was against HaShem. It's not survived. That peace is not good. All right. So let's stop here. We continue with Laws of Shabbos. We're on page 27 in the Shabbos Home, volume 1. And it's very interesting topic. Very interesting. Okay. So it's hard Shabbos.
You said 47 or 27?
Say again?
47 or 27?
27.
27. Got it. Okay.
Chapter 3, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. As mentioned in the previous chapter, the sages forbade earnings of any type of business transaction on Shabbos. Okay. One more time, I apologize. As mentioned in the previous chapter, the sages forbade engaging in any type of business transaction on Shabbos, because business transaction often lead to writing. So today, as we said, maybe it's today's electronic receipt, but in olden days it was like handwritten notes. One of the things covered by this prohibition is earning of compensation for services performed on Shabbos. Meaning somebody is working and he's getting compensation, some kind of compensation. You see, they don't say salary. We're going to see why. It's exactly compensation for their services performed on Shabbos. This aspect of the prohibition is known as Schar Shabbos, Shabbos earnings. In addition to the prohibition, the earnings of the compensation, the sages decreed that if person received Shabbos earnings, that is, he was paid after Shabbos for the service performed on Shabbos, it is forbidden for him or anyone else to derive benefit from these earnings. So basically, he worked on Shabbos only, and just so the person will think, so okay, I got paid after Shabbos. Right?
Wow. Yeah. A question that a little bit is about this topic. So in the parsha, we're talking about Shemitah now. My question is, why are the Sabbath laws for the land so different than the Sabbath laws for us? For example, let's say someone uses the fruits to, let's say, buy a goat or something. Now, both the goat and the fruits have to be treated with the holiness and the laws of Shemitah. So why over here it's the exact opposite? For example, where the earning, because something bought through the earnings aren't allowed to, you're not allowed to derive benefit from the earnings. It's
same, no, one side is same, exactly the same Shemitah. So you can, like similarity, not exactly the similarity. So you cannot sell those fruits on or vegetables on Shemitah. So for example, you say, okay, I got 2 pounds of tomato, but you know what? It's actually for my family, but we're not going to eat tomato. We're going to better sell them and buy a new pair of pants. So it's not allowed. So if you want a tomato, eat tomato. The biggest similarity between Shabbos and Shemitah is what we spoke about this morning. So it says in Shemitah, everybody must go learn in yeshiva. During the year, you're busy, you feel with the whole agriculture cycle. But on Shemitah, you have no excuses whatsoever. It says in the 6th year, HaShem is going to provide for 6, for 7, and for 8, right? For 3 years. So basically, don't worry about food. Don't worry, you're not allowed to work on land. Guess what? Go learn Torah.
I understand. It could have said it this way for the Shemitah to be the same with this. Now, let's say you bought something with the Shemitah produce. It could have said for the Shemitah, just to be not consistent, because obviously laws are different. It could have said that now you're not allowed to even eat the Shemitah produce, for example, and you're not allowed to do anything with the goat. And also, let's say, I think this question.
Let's do one point at a time. So, but you're allowed to eat. People have to eat. What do you mean? Why shouldn't they eat?
Okay, so a simpler question to get to the point. For example, why are the laws of Shemitah, like, let's say, sowing? Why is that malchus while this is skila and kares? Because both are Sabbaths with one is sanctifying. Both are sanctifying Hashem's.
Okay, I see what you're asking. I'm not sure about that. So why the different punishment? So I don't know. Yeah, for the Shemitah, I guess it's correct. So basically, plus they say even though you're allowed to eat fruits, but these fruits are vegetables. They fill with a special sanctity. So you cannot just throw to the garbage. If it's good fruit, so you ate an apple, for example, whatever. Some people, like, I don't. Me personally, I'm trying not to waste food, or as little as possible, right? Some people, so many times, would eat half of apple and throw to the guy. I said, why would you do that? Put in the plastic, right? Like a plastic wrap. Put it in the refrigerator. You can eat it later on. There is no problem. Why should it throw out like half an apple? You understand? So and Schmidt, and on a regular year, it's going to be baltashlis. There is a prohibition about wasting, but in a Shemitah year, it's going to be different prohibition because he disregards something that's a holy, which is bigger issue. Okay, so let's continue. Scope of the prohibition. So meaning earning money on Shabbos. It is it is prohibited to earn money on Shabbos, even though the performance of the permissible service, right? Even through the performance of permissible service. So he's not Michal Shabbos, this guy. For example, it is prohibited to be a waiter, babysitter, or a tutor for compensation on Shabbos. So you're allowed to be a waiter on Shabbos. There is no problem. That's what you do, right? You have family and somebody brings food to the table. He's like a waiter, correct? Right? Or somebody is a babysitter. Okay.
Well, what if someone is, let's say, like, in the stock market, he's making money on Shabbos, but he's not doing anything at all? Like investments, for example.
Okay, we're going to talk about it. Yes, I hear your question. We're going to talk in details about it. Yeah.
Got it.
The prohibition of the earning wages applies whether one performed the service on behalf of a Jew or a Gentile, so it doesn't matter. However, it is permitted for a Jew to compensate Gentile after Shabbos for permissible service that Gentile performed on his behalf on Shabbos. So we're going to learn what is it. So this Gentile did something for me, which I could have done myself, right? And I want to compensate. Basically, I'm allowed to give him a gift, not as a payment, but as a gift. The prohibition applies not only to the earning wages, but also to earning rental income and royalties. Interesting, right? Thus, rental income. Thus, one is prohibited from renting any of his possessions, such apartment, room, or car, exclusively for Shabbos, or from deriving benefit on such of income. So basically, this guy said, you know what, I'm Shomer Shabbos, so and I'm not going to drive anywhere. So, but this guy is staying. Let me rent somebody, right? Let them use for Uber, right? Or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Only for Shabbos, so not allowed. Not allowed. The prohibition, and basically, even if you give it to your neighbor, even for a free, so he would owe you a favor. You understand? So that it's going to be different payments. He's going to say, you know what, no problem. And one day you're going to be out somewhere in a school, and he is going to shovel your driveway and in front of your house. Why? Because one day you gave him your car on Shabbos. You understand? It's also payment. The prohibition of Shabbos on Shabbos earning covers all form of compensation, including payment of cash or merchandise. Merchandise. Forbidding a debt, also forgiving a debt, also owned by the worker, and performing work in exchange for work performed on Shabbos. So he does something for you, and in exchange you're going to do something for him. We're talking about something allowed. We're not talking about forbidden jobs, actions. Okay. However, it is permitted to compensate someone for the service by guarding something on his behalf. So that's one exception. So you can guard. So basically, he's not getting some like monetary benefit, right? Guarding is not considered compensation, since it does not benefit the recipient materially, but merely prevents him from suffering loss. And it's we're going to learn in the halachas. There is a huge difference between benefiting and not suffering loss. That's a huge difference. Okay, part number 2. Exclusion to this prohibition. Okay. Shabbos earnings. Excluded, included with the weekly earnings. Okay, so the Shabbos earning included with the weekly earnings. The Shabbos, the sages prohibited only the earning of compensation specifically for the service provided on Shabbos. It is permitted to receive lump sum compensation for a job that is performed during weekday and Shabbos. So one more time, it's whatever it was permissible, right? This rule is often misunderstood, meaning that if the employee did work for a weekday, he can collect the wages for work that he did on Shabbos, as long as both payments are made together. So it's so basically he calculated his salary and he said that on Shabbos I'm making such and such an amount of money. However, that is incorrect. The permitted criterion for permissibility is that the work performed during the week and performed on Shabbos must be part of the single job, for which one payment is given. So basically, he's getting not by hour or by day, right? So he's getting paid weekly. Well, whatever is it, they agreed on weekly, so it doesn't matter. He works one day he works more hours, another day he works less hours, so he's getting paid weekly. So it means that Shabbos is included in that payment. They're going to use the term like swallowed by the other day. So Shabbos is swallowed by other days of the week. There must be a firm understanding between the parties that neither of them can renege on the agreement after only part of the work is done. Thus, if the employer backs out midway, he will be liable for entire wage. Only in such a case. So one second. So let's try to understand. So these guys, when they agreed for a payment, let's say they agreed for $1,000 a week, right? That's what the agreement was. So if this employer said, you know what, I don't need you, I don't have any job for you for last 3 days, right? I don't have anything for you to do. So he's still obligated to pay him for the whole week. So only then it is a weekly payment. You understand? Otherwise, it's not. He's being paid by date or by hours. So that's the point of this sentence. Okay. Only in such a case where the payment for Shabbos is intertwined, right, with the payment for a weekday, the Shabbos earning is permitted. So only if it's together, it's inseparable. So you cannot separate. You cannot tell them, okay, you this week you work 5 days, another week you work 6 days. So this week I'm going to pay you a little less. Next week I'm going to pay a little more. So it's not going to work like that, right? So I mean,
does it at all matter? Let's say the amount of money you make on a certain day, because let's say someone makes the majority of his money on it's all one work day. Let's say one payment, but someone let's say someone, I don't know, rents something for 2 days, okay, and on one day he gets $5 for the rent, then on Shabbos he gets 5,000. So then, is there any stringency or leniency towards this that makes you not allowed to do such a thing, where to such a point it's considered as just for Shabbos, like a loophole, for example, where because someone can say, really the work is only one day, but I'll make this guy pay me $5 for the day before in order to make it actually one payment for 2 days instead of just for Shabbos.
Okay, so if the guy needs to do something for a first day, so even if it's only a little bit or after Shabbos, so let's say, so we can say we can take the example. We're going to learn here, but just since you asked the question, we can take, for example, a waiter, right? So they come. Let's say that there is a Friday night meal in a synagogue, whatever, there is bar mitzvah, whatever is it. So they come before Shabbos for sure. You agree? Mm-hmm. So they bring the tablecloth, they bring all of the dishes that set the tables, and they work during the Friday night. Then they go home. Let's say they're not Jewish, they took bus, whatever, car, whatever, they went home. There is no problem. So basically, and you pay them, let's say $250 for one day. So you pay him. You're not allowed to pay him on Shabbos, but you pay for this job. So basically, you can say, I pay you $250 for setting up the table, right? And you work for me for free on Shabbos.
Okay, so I have this question then. So I'll give you two different scenarios of what counts as a day. So for example, let's say there's 5 seconds of a day left. Let's say on Tuesday, but the bris is counted. That's still counted as one day towards the 8 days for the bris, correct? Because it's still on that day. It doesn't count as duration. It counts as what day it's on. Now, but there's also the different way of counting it, where on what day does this count as when it was made? For example, for the Shemitah produce. Now, to decide which year is the Shemitah produce from, if it's before, if it grows 1/3 in the 6th year, it is counted as produce of the 6th year. But if it is if it is less than 1/3, then it grows to 1/3 in the 7th year. Then it is counted as grown in the 7th year. So over here, let's say you grow 1/3. Let's say you make 1/3 of the. Let's say you make most of the money, or 3/4 or something in on the day of Shabbos, on the Shabbos day. Now that counts as money on the Shabbos day. So isn't the main day of work Shabbos? So doesn't it count as a day of work for the Shabbos, even though you made money beforehand?
Yes, yes. So it should be okay. There are two basic approaches. First, as we said, he's being paid weekly. So, for example, you have an apartment and you rent it to someone. So he's paying you monthly rent. So you're not telling me like you paying me $20 or $50 a day. No, you're not paying. You paying me $1,500 a month. That's your rent. So in one month is going to be 30 days. Another month is going to be 31 days. We do not care. We don't do this called adjustment of the rent.
I understand.
So that's one approach. And second approach that when it's the service is only for Shabbos, let's say, or for example, you check into a hotel, everything you need on only Shabbos, right? So, but they have to invest some things to prepare the room, right? They have to clean the room, they have to laundry the sheet, your towels and stuff like that. Somebody have to clean, somebody have to do all the preparation. So you paying them from that preparation, and then after you left the hotel, you checked out, they have to do laundry again, that somebody have to clean. So basically you pay them for services done before and after Shabbos.
So
and zero for Shabbos. So even $1, even 1 penny on Shabbos, not allowed to make. So but those two that I gave you, two different scenarios, two different approaches how it would be allowed.
So I'm saying it this way, basically. Let's say, before Shabbos on Friday, you make 1/3 of the money you're gonna make. 1/3.
You cannot do.
Cannot do. Okay.
No.
Okay, because I was using the Shemitah example where if you make
you cannot compare. Here you cannot compare.
Got it. That's why I'm asking. Okay.
Yeah, but excellent question. Yes, it's called Shabbos. Yeah, you're right 100%. Okay, so continue. This allowance applies even if most of the work is done on Shabbos, as long as it is included in arrangement whereby some work must be done before or after Shabbos. So I think that the best example would be waiters, right? So they would do setup, all of the setup they would do before Shabbos, and then after Shabbos they would come and take the ovens and take all of the equipment, all of the dirty plates or whatever. They throw out the garbage. I mean, they have enough to do like after Shabbos. Okay, continue. According to some poskim, it is permissible to accept payment for a service provided only on Shabbos if the service required some preparatory work before Shabbos, or if the expense was accrued because of the service performed on next page on Shabbos. So here's the first scenario is our actually both of the cases our hotel room, right? They have to do some preparatory work. They have to clean. They have to do laundry for you to check in. And after you left, they have to do after that they have to do some work. And there is expenses, right? The guy, the owner of the hotel, already paid this cleaning lady. Maybe the day, maybe somebody checked out on Thursday and you check in on Friday. So and he already paid this lady. You understand? So it is going to be good according to both opinions. The payment for services done on Shabbos is added to the payment for the preparatory work and reimburses the expense and is therefore considered to be included in a weekday payment. So it's like one payment. So, but right, one big payment. So basically $250 this way they got for setting up the table and then coming back Motzi Shabbos to throw out the garbage and take his equipment, and zero on Shabbos, so he actually enjoyed it together with you. To illustrate, it is permissible, according to this poskim, for a teacher to accept compensation for tutoring students on Shabbos if the tutoring requires special preparation before Shabbos, or it requires a purchase of specialized teaching material, and the tutor will receive one large payment. So basically, let's say he's going to tutor somebody, right? So he has to spend 3 hours, 5 hours, whatever hours of his time during the week to prepare the material. He has to buy books. Maybe not every time he has to buy books, but so you paying him for preparation for this class. You understand? For preparation and 0 for tutoring. Okay, which is okay. Next one, hiring someone on Shabbos. Although Shabbos earnings are permitted, if the payments is included with the weekday earnings, it is prohibited to hire someone on Shabbos itself if the compensation is stipulated. Okay, if you tell them that you're going to pay. This pertains even though the compensation will be given together with the weekday earnings. So we're going to see some exception, right? So okay, some exception. So basically, if he does something for you, which is permissible, you just hinted to him. So after Shabbos or 3 days later, you can give him a gift. Understand? It's if he understands, it's that you're not obligated to give him a gift. So that's actually the scenario. So I mean, you can always give gifts. There is no problem. Okay, but it's because you have free will. Basically, if you don't want to give, so that's how it works. Okay, continue. Rentals. The rule described above applies also to rentals. It is permissible to rent out one's possessions for Shabbos if the rental includes a pre or post Shabbos period, and one payment is made for the entire period. Okay, so basically he can rent I don't know, whatever from me, and give me back on Sunday. Okay, so he uses it on Friday, maybe he uses it on Shabbos, and on Sunday, and there is no problem. According to the opinion of the so that's very interesting. That's what they do. You know where they do it. So if you want to rent a truck, you know, you like U-Haul truck, right? So they usually you pay for 24 hours period, and plus you pay for miles, basically, right? But I think like I don't know how they operate now, but in like some years ago, when I had to rent it, so you rent it if you need it. I don't remember how it works. On Sunday or no, I don't remember, or it was like a national holiday. I don't remember. So they basically they give you, it was Monday was national holiday, right? So they say you have to return it by Tuesday morning. Maybe it was Memorial Day. I don't remember. So they basically you get a free day, right? They do not care. You understand? So it's like. But you still pay the same, even though you can use it for 2 days. So you rent it on Sunday morning, but you return you pay only for 24 hours, right? So, but you can use it the next 2 days. So that's a very interesting thing. So that's exactly here. Like you pay for before or after Shabbos activities. According to this opinion, the poskim mentioned above, it is permitted to rent out property exclusively for Shabbos if some preparatory work is required before Shabbos, if some expense is incurred due to the rental. As we said, this cleaning lady, right? That's, I think, it's the best example. Okay, B, voluntary compensation. One is permitted to give gift to someone who performs service for him on Shabbos. However, it must be clear to both parties that the gift is not obligatory payment for the service rendered, but a voluntary bequest. Thus, the employee may not demand a gift and cannot take offense if the gift is for no gift is forthcoming. So it's very interesting law. So some people like when you go somewhere, they say that like mandatory tips, right? That they have to tip guy, right? So basically, the boss is tip, but you have to tip him, and they say suggested. We greatly encourage you to give him tips like $2, $3, whatever. Like, come on. So it's not voluntarily. I mean that they tell you what to do. So basically, if you don't give a guy, he's going to get upset. You understand? Maybe you give him a little less, if you whatever, but you must give him. So he expect, even though it's gift, even though it's not obligatory, but it is obligatory. But here, gift means that if only because of your free will, he gave you did some favor for you, and you want to give him, like, I don't know, whatever you want to give him. You want to buy him ice cream, whatever you want to buy, or give him $20. Okay. So continue. C, compensation without material benefit. As mentioned above, it is permitted for employer to compensate worker for Shabbos hours by guarding something for him in return. For example, one may compensate a neighbor who babysit one child on Shabbos by babysitting an equal length of time that for that neighbor, either on Shabbos or afterwards. It is even permitted to stipulate that he will be babysitting in return. So I think it's perfect example, right? So you're not getting like anything like material in return. Maybe you're saving money that you don't have to hire a babysitter on one hand, but basically that's another solution. So let me see how much we have. Okay, so a little more in this stuff. Earnings for the performance of the mitzvah. There is dispute among the poskim whether it is forbidden to earn compensation for a performance service that is a mitzvah. So meaning don't get paid for a mitzvah. This issue applies, for example, for compensating a cantor who leads the prayer, or a person who reads from the Torah on Shabbos and Yom Tov. That's a good question, right? For a person who blows the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. Some poskim permit compensation for this type of service, while others forbid it. However, even though who permits, it states that no blessing will forthcoming from money earned on Shabbos. So even though they permit, I say it's no blessings. Even if it is earned through the performance of the mitzvah. So he did mitzvah for money and no blessing. Therefore, it is advisable to arrange that even these earnings be earned together with the weekday earnings. For example, a cantor should lead the prayers or read from the Torah on a weekday, and the shofar blower should blow during the months of Elul. So we're talking about this, for example, this Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So he comes one day on Slichas. So we start, Ashkenazim start on Motzei Shabbos before Motzei Shabbos of the week that Rosh Hashanah falls on. Okay, so we start Slicha in the midnight, basically. So this guy comes on midnight, who is going to lead the service on Rosh Hashanah. He conducts the service. It's like we pay him around 3,000 for that day and 0 for Rosh Hashanah.
Wait, so let's say someone gets paid, not on Shabbos, but just in general for doing a mitzvah. Okay, now, do they get reward? Do they get blessing and reward in the world to come for that mitzvah because they decided this money is good enough for me?
Can you give me an example of the mitzvah?
There's a famous story people share at Shabbos tables, for example, where there's a person. He went to the rabbi because he was poor and had to marry off his daughters, and he said he gave him $1 and he said whatever someone will offer you for this $1, sell, right? And then so he went somewhere, and then he was like, what can I buy for $1? And then there was some schlemazel, and he said, I'll sell you my life in the world to come. Okay? So he took it next second. He sold his life in the world to come. Then that schlemazel, he went back to his wife. And then his wife, wanted to kill him.
Exactly.
And then afterwards, they were arguing and so on. Then they went back to the Rebbe. Then they said, they made a dispute where he got $50,000 back because his wife was going to divorce him if he didn't buy it back.
Yeah.
The trick in the story is that actually the schlemazel, his life in the world to come, wasn't even worth $1 beforehand. But because he bought it, now his life in the world to come was worth $50,000. Now,
okay.
So the point is that someone can decide that instead of receiving reward in the world to come, this money's good enough. For example, Rabbi Yaron Reuven says, don't you receive more reward for charity if the charity isn't given with honor, but it's given unanimously? For example, over here, if you decide that, for this mitzvah, I want $5, So instead of receiving blessing and reward in Olam Haba, you'll get these $5 instead.
Mm-hmm. So what's the okay? So what's the question?
So the question is this money that you get if you ask someone for money for doing a mitzvah? Does HaShem still reward you for the mitzvah?
So what we just said, we just said something different. So there's not going to be any blessing for the money or earn on Shabbos. Whatever he makes on Shabbos, there is no blessings. That's what we are talking about.
Yeah, I'm asking you a bit off topic.
So you, but you're talking about weekdays, right?
Yeah, any day of the week.
So okay, so he can get paid for a mitzvah, and that's but you see when people getting paid, so it's a little different. So for example, a rabbi comes and do a chuppah, right? He officiates the wedding. So you're not allowed to pay for a wedding. He does a mitzvah. That's his job, right? But you're allowed to give him a gift. He taught you the laws. He taught your fiance the laws and stuff like that. And he came and he shared some information, gave you some books. So for his time, you have to compensate him as a gift.
Got it.
Or somebody do a circumcision. So this rabbi has to come before, check the baby. He said, the baby is yellow. I'm going to come next day, 3 days. So he might come, and after the circumcision, he comes again. So he might do like 3 or 5 trips, whatever, right? Yeah. If it's something that's good. So you compensate. There's no price for a circumcision, but you compensate him for these trips.
So when someone pays for, let's say, Chavrusa, he doesn't pay him for his Torah, he pays him for his time, or is it more of a gift?
For a time, yes.
Got it.
So this guy could be on a stock market making many dollars, right? Mm-hmm. So you pay him like minimum compensation for his time, just stay here. Mm-hmm. So of course, I mean, if you when in a place where I work, there is all of this yeshivish guy. They're all of the directors, accountants, and the sharpest people. You understand? From after learning so many years in the Lakewood and all of the Gemara on other things, they are very like sharp-minded people, and they don't watch over the garbage on the internet. You understand? So this guy is like after a few years from yeshiva, he's leading the whole department. You understand? Even without college education. So why? Because he's sharp. So of course he can make much more money than being chavrusa and being paid the minimum compensation. You agree? So that's okay. That's what we paid for. Okay. So continue. Okay. However, this is unnecessary. According to the opinion we mentioned earlier, if the counter or shofar blower needs advanced weekday preparation for their performance, or they incur some expenses, for example, buying a shofar. So that's different things. Like even though he been counter for many years, it's totally different text. Absolutely different. So he has to review his tunes and text. So that's what we're paying for. Okay, you want to stop here or continue? Tell me.
Anything you want. We can continue.
Okay, continue. Practical applications. Okay. A. Babysitting. A babysitter may receive monetary compensation for service performed on Shabbos if either, right? 1. It is arranged in advance that some babysitting will be also done before or after Shabbos, and one lump sum be paid for those periods, right? So meaning that she came on Friday, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, before Shabbos, or she stays after Shabbos. Okay, that's good enough. Let's say she's only babysitter for Shabbos. That's what they mean. Or the babysitter provides diapers, milk, or something else involvement in expenditure, and the payment for Shabbos service is included with the reimbursement for these expenses. So basically, we reimburse, for these expenses. Alternatively, if the babysitter has a children of your own, one can arrange to babysit an equal length of time for her on a different occasion. So all this 3 scenario works with babysitting. So basically, I mean, many things are allowed. You just have to know how to be a kosher Jew, right? That's the thing. Okay, tutoring. B. A tutor may be compensated for a teaching of on Shabbos if either, number one, he's required to tutor on weekday as well and paid one lump sum. So he teach this guy the guy teach his students on Monday, Tuesday, and Shabbos. Let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Shabbos. Okay, so he's getting paid for all of these days together. One lump sum. Okay. Number two, he prepares for the tutoring before Shabbos. So I mean, it takes time to prepare. So in one group, for example, my morning group, so this guy wants every time want me to do review of everything that we said last time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So for me, I don't have such a great memory. I have memory, but not such a great to remember. So I have to review like from the beginning. I have to read everything what we said last time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that's very beneficial to me, right? For me, it's very beneficial. Okay. Number three, he incurs the expense for teaching material and payment for tutoring in a lump with this reimbursement. So he bought whatever books or whatever he did. Okay, continue. One who tutors a Torah subject may rely upon opinion that permits compensation for the performance of the mitzvah. Okay. Nevertheless, it is advisable to use one of the aforementioned arrangements. As we said, for the mitzvah, there is no blessing. And there is a problem. Another problem with teaching Torah for money, because Moshe Rabbeinu, when came, he taught us Torah for free. So who are you to charge money? You understand? So Rambam was very against it. The way he speaks about people who take money for, he's very strong. Everybody has to have a profession, right? He was a physician himself.
Yeah.
All of the sages, and he gives the list. It's in that book that you got. So, and then he gives the list of all of the rabbis, not all, but many examples from Talmud. This one was woodmaker. This was a shoemaker. This was the whatever this builder. Like all of these things. Water carrier.
I understand. So I have this question. So, for example, earlier when we were talking about writing, it said you're not allowed to play certain board games because they lead to writing, correct? Now, we're here tutoring. Now, if you think of tutoring, a lot of the time tutoring is done, paper, pencil, so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, this is, with the board games, for example, someone doesn't have to, use paper and pencil, but it's likely they'll do it. And it's also likely with tutoring. So shouldn't tutoring be prohibited in the first place? Since
when we say tutoring, as we said before, usually when we say tutoring, maybe in math or some other science, you need to write or draw a picture. But here, most tutoring like in Torah tutoring. For example, he teaching the another guy how to read, right? You don't need to write it down. Or he teaches him like they learn together the parsha of the week with Rashi.
Got it. Okay.
It's also tutoring. Okay, continue. The waiter and the cleaning help. A Jewish waiter should not be paid for work done on Shabbos unless his job is requires him to do some work before or after Shabbos. For example, set up or clean up. Set up or clean up. Okay, as we said. Or if he waits during the week as well, and being paid lump sum. So that's, I think, this perfect example. So we're talking about even Jewish waiter. Let's say he does not have to take a bus, or he works somewhere nearby, right? Near wherever he lives. So he pays for something that's done before Shabbos or after Shabbos. Or maybe he's being paid for all of this time that during the week. And not Jewish data. Yeah.
A little off topic, but I've been doing Shemitah all day today. So over here, it talks about a non-Jewish waiter. He's allowed to be paid for Shabbos.
No. Sorry. We're talking about Jewish waiter.
No. I'm talking about the second one. The second one over here, it says a non-Jewish waiter.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't get to it. Yeah. Go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay. So my point over there is, Now, I know a Jew isn't allowed to work the land and reap the harvest, and also it says that you're allowed to give the fruit of the land to your maidservant and and your resident, for example. It says resident because it applies even a non-Jew if you're responsible for him. So my point is a non-Jew allowed to work the land on the Shemitah year?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
But his land, not our land.
So not Jewish land. Okay,
No.
got it.
Unless they in some kind of agreement, we are not going into it, but maybe the Jews sold them for that year, and this land 100% belongs to a non-Jew, and he can do with the land whatever he wants. But it's not 100% kosher.
Oh. When it says land, doesn't it refer to the land of Israel or any land owned by a Jew?
No. This only land of Israel.
Okay, exactly.
Shemitah is only in the land of Israel.
Exactly.
That's why it's very important to know exactly when they say land of Israel, where exactly the border is. It's very important to know. So in some, for example, in some of these parts in Syria, well now where Syria is, right, and Jordan, right. So some of these two parts were our land, right? It was the two and a half tribes. So I'm not sure. I don't remember 100%. I think that at least it's rabbinical. I'm not sure if everybody agrees that biblical, but minimum it is rabbinically. They have to keep the Shemitah.
Because what you said is, let's say someone can buy land from the Jew and now it's non-Jewish land. But the thing is, all Jewish land, let's say all of Israel, even though Syria thinks it's its land and is technically non-Jewish land, it's still Israel. It's still Jewish land. So doesn't that mean that a non-Jew is still allowed to work the land of Israel?
I think so. Yes, I think
so.
Okay,
Got it.
This is his land. Okay. So on Shabbos it is different. Maybe if that's what you're referring to, on Shabbos it is different. So this person that accepts the 7 laws of Noah, he's not allowed to publicly desecrate Shabbos. So he's not allowed to play the loud music. He's not allowed to do construction, a very very loud construction in his house in a Jewish neighborhood.
Got it.
You understand? Okay. So continue. A non-Jewish waiter may be paid after Shabbos for work he does on Shabbos. Okay. As we said before, the same rules apply for domestic cleaning help. Okay, so let me see how much is left.
One small question. About what you said about a Noahide who isn't allowed to desecrate the Shabbos by playing loud music, for example. Is he allowed to do stuff for others on Shabbos or no?
Say it again. I didn't get it.
You said like he's playing loud music on Shabbos. Not loud, but is he allowed to help other Jews do what would be forbidden labors to them? Would he be allowed?
No. Okay. Whatever is not forbidden, whatever is forbidden for a Jew to do, he's not allowed to ask a non-Jew to do for him. So if non-Jew does something, like it's the most ridiculous example. Not example. I was shocked. Many years ago, me and my wife, we went on vacation, and it was in I don't want to say which place because it's the only Orthodox shul on that. It was on the West Coast basically, and if I say the name, it may be Lashon Hara. So basically, it's the only one place, right? And so we stay in a hotel and we walked like 40 minutes walk to that shul. And we came, and there's a black guy, cleaning guy, like the caretaker of the show. He said, would you like some coffee? And my wife said, yeah, I would like some coffee. He said, yeah, I'm going to make fresh for you. So, whoa! I say we're not allowed to drink coffee. We're not allowed to benefit from. He said, I know the rules. He said, and he started giving us halacha shiur. So he said, I'm going to make it for myself, and I'm going to drink, so everybody can benefit from it. He said, how was it? I said, very nice. And how long have you been doing this? He said, for 20 years. I said, it's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And all of these people who think that they are that, they're not. Guess what? The rule is opposite. So if he did it for himself, right, only for himself, and there is some coffee or hot water left over, so you can use it for your own tea. But if he did it like, I don't know, like 5 gallons of this heater, or I don't know, and drank half a cup, so he had intention to do it for a juice. So it's not allowed. But you see, they trained him, and in his mind, he was the biggest. He did the mitzvah, and people, this rabbi, I don't know, I don't know why, but basically he was quiet. So for 20 years, same rabbi, same this cleaning guy, and same people. Everybody drank this coffee. I say, my wife, you're not allowed to drink this coffee. You're not allowed. He just cooked it for you. Of course, we said it's not that. It's Rabbi told me. So that, all right, let's stop here. So I want you to, okay, let's stop here. I'm going to stop recording.
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעביר לו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
כן.